Have you ever heard the phrase, teach everything you know? And you thought, yeah, right. Who wants to learn something from me? I don't know enough to teach anybody anything. Well, if you've ever thought that, we're going to talk about how to turn your mess into your message quickly and easily today on the podcast. Welcome everyone to episode number 265 of the Amplify Your Awesome podcast. It's officially week number 2 of being Amplify Your Awesome, and I'm still getting used to saying those words in combination. I'm Yang Pratt, your host, and I'm so glad you are tuning in because today's idea of turning your mess into a message could really change the way that you view how you can share what you know with other people. I do first want to give credit where credit is due on the phrase, turn your mess into your message. It came to me this morning from a mentor, Dean Graziosi, and every Monday he does a live video for those of us who have taken his KBB or Knowledge Broker Blueprint class. I invested around Christmas time last year, 2019, and it's really changed my perception about how to go about teaching what I know in a real, tangible way. It's not about being complicated. It's not about going out there and learning all the things and figuring out a way to do it. It's about taking something you already know how to do, an obstacle you've overcome, a challenge you've faced, and it was so hard. And now that you're on the other side, you can show people how to do just that. For example, back when I wrote my first book, Raising a Superhero, it was about helping parents turn the page in their kids' education system and helping them to not only embrace their kids' unique superpowers, but also to help them have conversations with their kids' teachers and administrators to really help change the focus of how they're learning from focusing on deficits to focusing on their superpowers and the things they are good at. Not strengthening the weakness, but really amplifying the awesome that is in your child inherently that school systems don't always look at every day. If you have kids in the school system, you probably know that this is kind of how the school system goes. They kind of teach to the masses, and a lot of times our kids are left to feel like they're not worthy, they haven't done well on a certain standardized test, and they're being judged by one moment in time when they took this test that wasn't even written in the way that their brain is programmed or wired, right? So that's why I wrote that. It was a challenge that I had faced in my own kids' education, something I wanted to see differently. It's something that I had many, many conversations with parents at my studio about, and those conversations turned into blog posts, and those blog posts turned into a book. So it was really about taking this mess that was education and the struggles we had from going from public education to homeschooling and back to public education and what that meant for my kids because they learn quite differently. Their needs are different. And as a parent, you know that each of your kids learns differently. They have different needs. They have different strengths. They have different things we need to acknowledge for them to understand that who they are, what they bring to the table is enough. There's a lot of pressure on them externally these days from things like social media to look a certain way, to act a certain way, to do certain things. And the more we can instill in them and fill them up, letting them know that they are perfect just the way they are, and they were put on this planet for a reason. Just like you were put on this planet for a reason, and you can teach everything you know. And it's not as difficult as society makes it out to be. Over the years, I have invested tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in education, with mentors, with buying different programs. And I was always seeking this external validation from someone else that I knew enough and I only could learn one more process. That's going to be the thing. This new class is going to be the thing that's going to move the needle forward in my. Well, I can tell you that some of the classes I've taken and some of the mentors I've invested in did do that for me. A lot of them didn't. So when it came to putting together a class following last week's 5-day Kickstart Your Book challenge, we really thought long and hard about what are the things that aspiring authors, aspiring writers, aspiring business owners need to move the needle forward. And one of the things that I really stressed in the challenge was taking what you know and turning it into something else. Taking those blog posts, taking those videos, taking those poems, taking anything you've created thus far and packaging it up with a brand new shiny bow and turning it into a book. It wasn't about sitting down and starting brand new from the very beginning, trying to figure out all the things. Which story am I going to write? What am I going to do? It was really about going back and looking at the things that you've already created, the things that you've already learned, the systems and the processes you've already created in your business that have helped you get to that next level that you can now take and put into a book for someone else to learn from. How cool is that, right? It's not about doing it the hard way and struggling and making sure that you're following things in a very specific order, because I've discovered about myself that while someone else's process may give me some guidance, if I try to follow it exactly, it doesn't work for me because I'm not them. I don't have their skills. I don't have their experiences. I have to come at it from my own perspective and my own angle in order to do that. So that when we put this class together, the class is called Accelerate. It's a 90-day program where we take you from creation to publication of your nonfiction book. It's about taking those things, whether it's research, whether they're articles, anything you've created, and then putting it together in a logical way so it makes sense for your end reader and it gives them something to aspire to. It helps them on their journey. You're giving them some sort of framework, helping them overcome those missteps that you may have taken in your mess. You're taking your mess and turning it into a message inside your own book. And you can find out more about Accelerate at today's show notes, yongpratt.com/265. Now, the other thing that is happening this week is that my mentors, Dean Graziosi and Tony Robbins, are doing a live training all about this idea of taking what you know and teaching, taking your mess and turning it into a message. It is happening on Thursday, February 27th. I'm going to be attending live, even though I already have this program. They are master teachers. Together, they have a combined total, I think, of 60 plus years in this space of teaching other people, of teaching them how to share their knowledge in meaningful ways. So, my friends, it's up to you now. Are you going to continue on with the status quo and wonder about, what else can I learn to teach somebody else? Or will you make the choice to show up for yourself this week? Join us inside Accelerate and join me live on Thursday as I watch Tony and Dean on a free masterclass all about taking what you know and teaching it to others and building a business with that. All right, my friends, I hope this episode has served you. I am fired up about all the things happening this week. Week number 2 of being Amplify Your Awesome. We kicked off last week with a 5-day challenge on kickstarting your book. This week, it's all about opening the doors to Accelerate, turning your content that you've already created and putting it into a book for other people to learn from you. And then join me on Thursday for Dean and Tony's live masterclass. You do not want to miss this. You can find the links to both of these opportunities at today's show notes, yongpratt.com/265. I'm going to be going live tomorrow, Tuesday, the 25th of February. I'm going to be answering questions about Accelerate over on our Facebook page at Awesome Amplified, or you can just search Amplify Your Awesome and you can find me right there because, my friends, life does not have to be hard. Business does not have to be hard. Trust me, I was that person who did it the hard way for so long, and I struggled and was frustrated. And when I've come to the other side now and think, oh my gosh, I wasted so much time trying to be what somebody else thought I should be, or following someone else's exact process, rather than finding mentors for myself who could show me how they did it by example, and then giving me a framework so that I could make it my own. That's what Accelerate is all about. That's what this live masterclass with Tony and Dean is all about. It's about teaching what you know and how to turn your mess into a message for the masses.